First of all, welcome to the channel, Agam. We've been working together for how long? Like for 4 or 5 months, something like that.
Yeah, November. Yeah, about 5 months.
Yeah, yeah. So how did it go? Maybe tell us about your journey, how everything went so far, and also like when you started with dropshipping generally.
Okay, so I started probably around, I would say, let's say September of last year, like August, September.
Mhm.
And yeah, the journey so far, let's say didn't know what the hell I was doing when I started, just based off random YouTube videos. Tried to launch a store. Store looked like crap. Uh, Probably also a bad product, and probably also didn't market it well. So, needless to say, I didn't get any sales, like not even one sale. Came across your videos on YouTube, as many as well as like a lot of other drop shippers on YouTube. But I was drawn to you and your style, and the case studies helped. So basically, then I joined the program November, and let's see, I worked through some of the training and the videos. I launched my store and my ads in February, mid-February of this year, and yeah, I mean, it took off. It took off, within a month. Like I made over 60K in sales. March was like a 60K sales month. So yeah, now I'm just trying to maintain it and, just deepen my knowledge really.
Mhm. Yeah, amazing. First of all, congrats on that. So how many products did you test?
Since I joined the program, just one. Like honestly, you helped me pick out after I did product research, you helped me pick out the preferred, I suppose, like your choice,
Mhm.
and it took off. So yeah, I mean, it went really smoothly for me.
Yeah, yeah. And what would you say was the kind of the main reason why it actually took off? Like, what do you, how would you
Yeah.
compare maybe this product to the product you tested by yourself before?
Well, I had the product criteria from you, and that helped me a lot, right? And also,
Hmm.
the tool to do the product research,
Hmm.
the training on how to use the tool, but also the criteria, and then having you around for questions, so and to consult in the team as well. So, I mean, that's the big difference, right? And then also just the quality of the store I was able to build based on
Hmm.
the training and all your help and all and in that. So I mean, just the resources and the training and the consultation, like all of it together, really helped me pinpoint and focus my time on the right activities and doing them right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe you can share your screen. Let's go through how everything went. All right. So yeah, I mean, last month, almost 60K. And in total, maybe like select like a little bit of a bigger time frame here.
Yep, let's do. I launched it like in on the 11th of February.
Mhm.
So let's just here. This should be everything. So
Yeah.
you can see it took off. I mean, it took off in March. That's when, yeah, things
Yeah.
changed.
Okay. But I mean, when we started testing it, did it instantly perform well? And also, like, what did you think about it? Like, how did you interpret the entire situation in the beginning?
I think I mean, it instantly showed promise. I then
Mhm.
remember talking to you after like a week, maybe like after a week of running ads,
Mhm.
when we looked at some numbers and you said, yeah, I think this could be a winner. Early indication if things continue down this trend. So yeah, I mean, it pretty much, yeah, warmed up for a couple of weeks in February.
Mhm.
Then I got some help with like the average order value and that's and some changes to the store
Mhm.
to help with conversion average order value, and that's yeah, I mean it took off after that once we started scaling in the March as well. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Obviously, the average order value thing on Shopify at the moment is glitching a little bit, so that's why it was wrong. But yeah, I mean, for you, how does it feel now? What do you think when it started to actually take off? And yeah.
Yeah, I mean it feels crazy. I feel like I don't want it to end, so it's like what else do I need to learn, like what do I need to get better at. I mean, it's funny. My wife is, she thinks it's crazy. She's like trying to do product research and stuff now. So it's just great, man. It's a life changer, really. It's opened up my eyes to, if you just put your time and energy and focus and get the right help, right? Like that was the difference. Um, I just really believe like it's a real thing, like this can be a life if you focus your time and energy on it. So I don't take it for granted, and I'm really happy with my decision, and that I went with you and the team.
Yeah, yeah, no, appreciate it. For you, I mean, obviously, it was the first product, and this is something which is not like 100% guarantee here. Obviously, there's a bunch of other people who had to test way more products than only one to actually succeed with the first winner. However, it does happen if you have the right criteria. Once in a while, that people just hit it from try one and instantly everything works. But did you already test products by yourself before this, or was this the first
I
product you tested in general?
I actually tested two products before this. Uh, uh, Sorry, before the program.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't get one sale on either of them.
Mhm.
Um, so that was
So
it. Yeah, I
why
tested
do
two
you think
products.
they didn't work? What was bad about them? Thinking back now.
Thinking back now, like they were not, they didn't match the criteria. I mean, some of the biggest things about the criteria, like some of the top and heaviest weighted met criteria items, like they didn't match.
Hmm.
My store, was crap. Um, my creatives weren't good, and my strategy wasn't good, like whether it was the offer or the creative strategy, like the actual marketing. I don't think I was doing it right, like the
Hmm.
targeting.
Hmm.
So I think, yeah, I mean, I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
Like this one matches like all the criteria, and um it just, yeah, you can see a big difference for sure, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but what I do remember in the beginning, when it started to kind of semi work and it did show potential, you didn't even understand that it actually does show potential. You were like, yeah, those are the numbers. I'm not sure. Like you were basically not 100% sure what's even going on. And to me, it was like, damn, those numbers are really, really, really strong. And when I told you that, you were like, oh, so this is good, you mean? And
Yeah,
it's just very interesting that in the beginning, it's very easy to also just see numbers like in such a different light where you maybe don't even continue with the product because it seems like I don't know if it's good or bad or okay or what's going on here. So yeah, I've seen that happen a lot where I, for example, look back on somebody's ads manager and they tested, let's say, 10 products already. They come to me and I look at the 10 products they tested and I'm like, bro, this was good. Like, why did you kill this? Just keep going with this, and it would have worked. And I've seen this mistake constantly done where you just stop one product too early. Um, and the other way around also happens a lot, where you actually start testing a product that doesn't work, and you just keep testing and testing and testing and testing, because you're so like emotionally attached. But yeah, for you, um, what would you say was the goal coming in dropshipping in the beginning, and also what is it now?
the goal coming in would have been to start a business, like get into e-commerce, um find kind of chase that entrepreneurial like dream and itch that I've had.
Mhm.
um so that was kind of the goal coming in, just to prove like I can do this if I focus on it, and e-commerce is the way to go. Like to me it's a no-brainer. Like that gives you the lifestyle that I think most people dream of,
Mhm.
if you're willing to work for it. Now the goal now is to continue the success, like take it to the next level, understand, like why, even deeper, like why I was successful. Like when it comes to the ads, like that's something I want to get better at.
Mhm.
So I'm like really learning, like that's where you make your money. Like
Mhm.
that's where it's made. So whether it's understanding how to make good creatives, finding good, people to work with on creatives, and then just understanding how to analyze the data, from the ads manager. Um, I think those are some of my next goals. But then just take it to like, let's get it to 100. Let's launch another store. Um, so I think launch another store, and then eventually I want to grow a team of a few folks. Like my brother's interested in going to business with me. So yeah, I think see where it goes from here. Where can we be in 6 months if this is
Yeah.
where I was able to get in 5 months?
Yeah, I mean, look, what the main thing is here, and this is a trap which I've seen a lot of people get into when the very first winning, like when the first product that we properly test is a winner, is that it feels like the next product you test is automatically also going to be a winner. And even if you test something which is doing like all right and not perfect, you basically feel like it's shit. And constantly, you're going to basically have the expectations of everything working out from the very first start. And I'm going to tell you already, like the main thing is to not get comfortable here with that. Don't expect this to happen again and again and again and again, because it's not going to happen. Like you're definitely 100% going to have a bunch of other issues when testing the next product, and it's not going to be as smooth as this one, very like all the time, you know?
I know I'm
So
a little nervous, because I know it's coming,
yeah,
but
it's for sure coming. And the question is just like how you actually deal with those issues, you know, because when it starts to work from day one instantly, um, like it feels like the whole thing is super simple. It's just you test the product, you get a winner, you start making money, and that's it. But in reality, there's a lot of things in the background which are also happening, which can still go wrong. And right now, like the priority I would like set for you is basically having number one, all the backups so you don't get shut down or blocked or whatever. And number two is also backup in terms of products because like if you only have one winning product at a time, you shouldn't be able to sleep at night. You should be nervous about not having the second one because like that one thing can always go down. You know, so this is just generally something you should always keep in mind. What was the motivation like initially specifically to pick dropshipping? Like why didn't you want to start with something else?
that's a good question. So, I mean, I had been looking into making money online for probably almost couple years.
Mhm.
Tried some YouTube channel gaming stuff. Like, man, yeah, I got
Really, I
them in
didn't know.
some, yeah. Um, yeah. But anyways, drop shipping, I think I was attracted to it because it really is like, I mean, feels like a real business. I mean,
Mhm.
it is, right? Drop shipping is just like a fulfillment method. So you're
Yeah,
still required to learn everything else about e-commerce. Like you essentially, but it's just a shortcut, I think, in a sense of like the whole logistics and operations of it. Like, and you also, you save the overhead from having a whole brand. And so I think it was sort of like low entry.
Mhm.
Uh and I would still kind of develop like the skills I wanted to develop and get into e-commerce. So
Yeah.
it felt like the right thing to do instead of playing, recording video games on my screen, uh, and not even knowing, like just that's not a real business to me. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
happy for people who do that, but
Yeah, yeah. It's actually a good point that you're making with the dropshipping just being a fulfillment method because most people don't understand it. Like it's literally e-com with a specific method of fulfilling your products, and that's it. It's nothing like people saying dropshipping is that it's literally saying e-commerce is dead. Um, it's just a fulfillment method. It's e-commerce with the easiest possible entry ever. It's just you don't have to have any inventory at all, meaning that you're not attached to the product. And this is the key because if you start a real e-commerce business where you actually buy the inventory up front and you just start that way, you are screwed if you don't know what you're doing. Imagine you're testing a
mhm.
product and you already bought 10K like pieces, you have them all sitting in your garage, and you start basically testing it, it doesn't work. You keep burning money insanely fast on Facebook just to break even on the thing which you already spent in terms of the product cost. And it's just so much more difficult. Especially, I've seen like a couple of people joining this program where they basically tell me, look, already bought like thousands of dollars of inventory. I want to sell this product. And I'm like, look, I don't want to crush your dream, but the product is shit. It's not good. Like it's a bad product. So we can try to break even on this, but this is definitely not something I would have tested initially. Now that you have already the stock, maybe let's try. But it's like it's the main issue with the emotional part because it's so simple to get attached to this and just to not kill things which are unprofitable. And if you think about your store right now, if you see that something is unprofitable, you need to kill it. Like there's no like you need to kill the asset. That's it. And imagine. if you cannot do that, you need to keep going just to break even on the product. So yeah, this is literally the reason why dropshipping is one of those business models where it's just relatively like looking at like an offline business, for example, or something like that. It's so simple to get in. It's insane. Especially now with like TikTok organic and stuff. For you, obviously, it was Facebook ads. But with organic, it's even crazier now.
Right.
But yeah, for you, like maybe let's talk about the structure of how you tested the product, because we don't have any like complicated, sophisticated things in terms of the structure of the campaign. Maybe like tell how you started testing this product. What was the campaign structure like?
Well, I do you want me to get into just like the setup of um how many ad sets and like that
Yeah,
kind of thing?
for
Or
example.
sure, yeah. So for example, I think we started with like 10 ad sets, low budget on each ad set, splitting up the targeting kind of between them.
Mhm,
So testing out interests, and also the ads, the creatives. So that's how we started out. And then kind of analyze that, I think, after several days, like start to analyze what your spend is
mhm,
versus your break even. So like knowing your break even too. So you have a couple of metrics to measure against
mhm.
and understand, are you losing money, or are you making money? And in this case it was making money, and you saw that. I was just like, oh, this is good. Michael's smiling, like, I think this is a good sign. Like, so uh yeah, that was the initial structure.
Mhm.
And then we got into things like scaling, finding out what interests were, and going a little bit broader.
Yeah, I get this all the time, and it's very interesting that people think that the structure of the campaign itself is the thing which makes you profitable or whatever. Basically, they tell me, look, the only thing I need help with is the product research. I can already do the Facebook part. I can do everything else. I just need that. And they don't understand that that is Facebook ads. If you have a good store, a good product, and a good ad, like it doesn't matter if it's a CBO, an ABO, 10 ad sets, 5 ad sets, $5 ad sets, $20 ad sets, it's working, you know? So obviously you're gonna have other things in the background, like having a good account and not being shadow banned, whatever. But in like as a whole, if you just understand what a good product is, what a good ad is, and what a good store is, that's it's basically it. Like the rest is just gonna fall in place. And I've also seen a lot of people do a bunch of mistakes. Like you do Facebook and you get away with doing mistakes just because you have such a good product, such a good ad, such a good store. And it's just that those things are the fundamentals and the rest is like whatever. And after that, the next thing is analyzing the numbers, because this is also something which most people do completely wrong. You test a product and you see the entire product as a whole is not profitable, let me kill the product. That's not how you do it. You need to look at the ad set by ad set, country by country, ad by ad. You just need to do all those breakdowns and see where the issue is. And also, for example, if you test something, it's not optimized at all in terms of average order value. And you basically see you're not profitable. And then you do something where you actually understand, all right, I can optimize the average order value, let's say $3 up, and my break even moves. This means that if you calculate back and the entire time the AOV would have been $3 up, it means that you could have been profitable. And it means that everything else doesn't count. So you were technically profitable, you're just not profitable because you didn't optimize the back end. And that also means that you need to keep going, even though on paper you aren't profitable. So there's all those things which you can mess up in terms of analyzing the numbers, and this is just the kind of the second part after having the fundamentals down in terms of the store ads and product. Um, yeah, how was that for you? Like the analyzing the numbers. What would you say were the main learnings there?
The main learnings were, I mean, I'm still going through that, it's
Yeah.
like ongoing. I think right now I have a reason to really dig into, I mean, not that you should need a reason, but I really need right now to focus on ads.
Mhm,
And I mean, I was spoiled. Like I didn't, like didn't really know what I was doing when it comes into the details in the Facebook ads.
mhm,
I just had, good product, a good creative, um, which I didn't even understand why it was good. like so now I'm kind of getting into that, trying to learn like, why is it actually good? How do I make another good creative?
Mhm.
How do I analyze the data in Facebook beyond just killing an ad set, right? Because the average of that ad set of the ads in there is bad. Well, is it one? Is it two? What's causing that? Like you said. So
Mhm.
um, I think that's something that I'm like trying to focus on now. So
Mhm.
even more to be able to really just control my destiny a little bit better, and move the chess pieces around, if you will. Um, so
Yeah.
it's an ongoing thing, especially when the first product you have, you kind of hit a, I won't call it a home run, but you get third base or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I understand. I understand. And for you, was that like while testing and optimizing all of those things, what would you say, like how did the optimization process go? Because I remember there were a lot of like key moments where we changed something and then it started to work. So what would you say were the main things we optimized there?
I'd say the main things were some of the like product images. This is kind of, and I'm going from like where there was like a little bit of a tipping point of
Mhm.
like, oh wow, like my average order value jumped. So optimize some images, calling out some of the offers like in the product images,
Mhm.
changing some of the language like in the offers themselves on the site, adding some free extra items to bump up just the conversion.
Yeah.
um, and let's see, one really big one is pre-purchase upsells. So upsells.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
had like a post-purchase, and Michael, you were like telling me for weeks. And of course I was, hesitant, as I'm sure a lot of people are, but
Mhm.
I assume. But as soon as I was like, I need to do this, like what the hell am I waiting for? Um, I mean, it jumped. Like my average order value jumped from $14 to like 17.50. Now it's probably over 18. I'm guessing right now it's a little bit 18, 19-ish. I mean, I've had days where it's
Mhm.
close to 20. I mean, there's still more I can do. Like I know there's still more I can test, more I can do. Um, and so I think those were some of the biggest things. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. And basically, how Facebook works in general is that everything gets more expensive, and you need to counterfight that by getting more data to understand how you can make more money out of each customer. And this is just the key of everything. So the more money you spend, the more people see the ad. In a lot of the cases, the higher the cost per purchases get. So it's going to get worse and worse. This is something which a lot of people believe is exactly the opposite. They think in the beginning it's going to be terrible, and then they scale, and then by scaling they get so much data that everything is going to turn great. This is not how it works. You need to first be really profitable, only then to scale. Because if you scale unprofitable things, you're not going to get profitable through that. You're going to get more unprofitable and scale losses. So this is something which you need to keep in mind. And if you just basically have a thing which constantly gets more expensive while scaling, you need to fight that. And you can fight that by getting a lot of data. And the more data you basically get, the more split tests you can do. So for example, what you just said with all the pre-purchase, post-purchase upsells with the images, that's not a try one working thing. Like you need to test a bunch of pre-purchase upsells, a bunch of post-purchase upsells, a bunch of pictures to actually see some like one which works the best. And you do that by spending a lot of money on Facebook, and through that you kind of even out the profit through scaling as well. And this is just like the nature of testing on Facebook in general. So this is kind of like the theoretical version of what we're doing right here. And also the other part is going to be the ad fatigue stuff. For you, it might actually be the case right now that the numbers are dropping a little bit because the ads are just like you didn't change anything, and there's a bunch like in reality, in a niche like yours, 60, 65K, not that high. So it's not that you saturated the entire niche. You're going to see a bunch of other people, or like a bunch of other people in the niche are going to be able to see a product like yours. But you just still need to change the things up in terms of ads, because it's more about the rating of Facebook. And when Facebook basically sees that people are just keep like they just keep scrolling
Mm-hmm.
more and more and more, which happens if you see an ad twice. If you think about yourself, if you see an ad, you, even if you're interested, you might watch a little bit. But if you see it three, 4 times, you instantly skip by default because you already know what's going to happen. You're not curious. It's the same video. So what happens there is that Facebook classifies your ad as something which is now lower quality because more sane people basically see your ad. And yeah, I assume that's basically what happens with you right now, where the performance started to drop a little bit. And this is something normal. We just need to start testing new creatives. And in some cases, it's just about the algorithm just re-optimizing, just uploading the creatives again, the same exact ones, and then they start to work for whatever magical reason because Facebook is weird. So that can also be just like one quick fix, which you can have there.
Doing what? Sorry.
Just uploading the ads again, the same exact ads, just uploading them again.
Oh, like
With
rather than
basically new,
duplicating.
yeah, with basically new engagement. So they start from scratch, and Facebook classifies them as a new thing, and for whatever
Right.
reason, they start to work really well again from just doing that.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, and I'm learning like that kind of stuff, right? It's like Facebook is, I mean, it's like a person, right? I mean,
Yeah,
almost. So
yeah.
it's
Well,
smart.
yeah. At least as smart as a person. But those are also the things which you're not going to be able to just invent. Like there's no way a person in the beginning is going to just think, hey, let me just upload the ads again so the algorithm optimizes. That's not
Hmm.
something you come up with in general. It's something which you can only learn by basically hearing it someone. So yeah, but also one interesting thing is the like you're doing this next to your job, right? You're not doing this full time.
Yeah, no, this is like, yeah, basically a side thing on top of a full-time job. So, yep.
Yeah, so maybe walk through here how you structure your day, how much time you put into this, etc.
So my day is structured. I mean, I work basically what you would refer to as a 9 to 5, right?
Hmm.
And then I also have a kid, like I'm married. So, I have a family to be with and care for and consider. So my day is structured. Basically, I do my job. Sometimes in the morning, if I get like a half hour, I might check on like profits from the day before. Otherwise, everything's just done at night. So, I might be able to knock something small out at lunch, but this whole thing has been done by devoting time in the evening after
Hmm.
my son goes to bed. So uh, that's pretty much, working anytime from let's just call it around 9:30 to, I mean, 12, 1. I mean, I've done good amount of nights past 1. Like it's just um getting that time in. I now work from home, so that's a huge advantage, right? Like I get 2 hours in my day basically that a lot of people don't have to spend driving, getting dressed, fully dressed, whatever that means, like in a nicer outfit. um so yeah, I mean, I've just done it by grinding at night, like, and being consistent, like getting through the courses that you offer and asking questions and really taking my time. Like, I knew it was important to start, but I think I spent a lot of time on product research. Like, I spent a ton of time on that.
Like how much time?
So Man, well, I was going probably a little too much, but given my situation, I'm doing it at
Hmm.
night. My family was going through a move too. Like we moved, and we had to move into somewhere, an interim place. So we moved like twice basically. But man, I spent probably like 6 weeks, almost. Yeah, just on product research and the courses.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I spent probably about
And this
six
might be,
weeks.
yeah,
Yeah.
and this might be shocking to a lot of people, but this is what led to the first product being a winner. It's not like you just do 2 days of product research and then it works and that's it. Product research part is a huge task, and you doing it for 6 weeks is basically the thing which leads up to your success chances being higher. I'm not saying that it should take 6 weeks. There's a lot of other people who found it much quicker. However, if you're just starting out, if like considering all the circumstances, you can do it after you done with everything, which means that you're way more unproductive. Like after you're done with a day, you're less productive than before you start with a day. Like you're 100% more productive in the morning than for example, after your son goes to bed, after you're done with the job, after everything is done. Then
Yeah.
to start with this, it makes everything so much slower. And in general, I don't know if it's doable with having a family, etc. But if you can, I would definitely consider waking up earlier, because this is one of those cases where it makes sense. The 2 hours of work productive is a very different thing than 2 hours of work unproductive when you're already tired, you know?
Yeah, I
Um,
mean that's a really good point too. Like I was slow, right? Like I was a little bit
yeah,
slower at it.
yeah,
My eyes shutting. Like that's when I knew I need to go to bed. It was like, well, you're falling asleep, so
yeah,
you need to go to bed.
yeah.
No, it's a good point. I've been thinking about it. How can I change my routine up to get a couple hours in the morning or an hour, like whatever, before my son wakes up. So
Yeah, yeah. I think it could make sense if it's possible. It's definitely going to enhance the productivity 100%. As long as you know exactly what you're doing, because it's also very easy to waste
mhm.
like 3 hours of your day every day by just refreshing the Shopify dashboard and checking the Facebook ad.
Yeah, well,
Um,
I'm not doing so much of that right now. Focused on Facebook ads. So, but I was for a while.
yeah,
I was definitely checking it like crazy. My wife thinks I'm nuts. She's told me to put the phone down. Uh, so, but
yeah. Very normal thing, by the way. Most it happens to the best of us. But this is also like a very like it's a prime example of not having excuses. Like it's very simple to put all of the situation which you just had as an excuse. I was moving, I have a family, I have a job, basically don't have time in general. Like if you just would have told yourself exactly that, you wouldn't have been here in this video right now, and you would just be watching YouTube videos. And yeah, I mean, first of all, like that's a very powerful thing. And I think hope that this should be somewhat of a wake up call to a lot of people, because in the end of the day, everybody, I don't believe anybody who doesn't have 2 hours, like 3 hours per day, everybody really has. And if you truly don't, because you work like a 13-hour workday and then you also have a kid, fine, okay, don't do it. But still, it's like for most, like 99.9% of the people who tell themselves that it's not possible, it is though. It is very, very possible. Maybe one question I also have to you is like, why specifically did you decide to actually go with me this program? What was the thinking behind that?
um, I think really when you were started to talk about, I remember like watching your videos and the case studies were great, and I kind of was like, are these real? Like, I need to find out. Like, not that they seem fake. It's just like
Mhm.
they're almost too good to be true. Like from someone who's not in it yet, you're just on the
Yeah,
outside looking in. But they're true, and just your style, like when you were talking about your failures, like that's when I was like, oh, like nobody on YouTube talks about their failures. Like they don't come out here and say, oh, I was a dumbass. I did this or that, or like, hey, here's my mistakes. Like, so I think that's where, I bought in really into like you as a consultant, as like a valuable, like resource and mentor to have. And so then I just kind of started watching more of your videos, and I mean that was it. Like I was in. Yeah, after that.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And the funny part about the whole thing, like officially like being fake or something like that, the whole case studies, whatever, it's like when you're in the program, you meet the people who are in the case studies. Like you see them in the
Mhm.
group calls, you see them everywhere, like you see them at some point as coaches and helping out with the newer students. And it's just something where we have a backlog of all the calls ever done for the last like 2 years, 2.5 years, people asking their questions according to their level and then getting higher and then better and better. It's something you can fake. So yeah, it's just something which, like, I'm, by the way, very lucky that I was never really skeptical about any of this. I like when I started with dropshipping, I was like instantly bought in. Every number I saw on YouTube, I was like, sure, this is exactly how much they're making. Profit equals revenue. This is like if they make 100K, they made 100. I was not thinking right. Like I was thinking super naive, but that was, in the end of the day, the thing which actually got me here, because I would never have tested the whole thing if I would be super skeptical. If I would be like, all right, all of this is a scam, it's fake, you cannot do those numbers, because if you would be able to do it, everybody would do it, so you cannot do it. That's something which a lot of people unfortunately think, and they just not don't start, just like literally because of that. Um, did you have like any skepticism in general about dropshipping when you started out?
I honestly, I guess outside of just the uncertainty of starting a business,
Mhm.
um, and never doing it before, right? It's only natural, I think, to be a little skeptical, but um, in terms of it being a business model, like I don't think so. I mean,
Mhm.
I think I understood that, like, yeah, your margins get hit a little bit because you are paying, to ship. Like you're not whole, and you're not buying in bulk, right? Like so, uh, no, I mean, I watched enough stuff and, on YouTube and online, and it just made sense to me. Like I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but like when I kind of heard someone say like it's just a fulfillment method, like it kind of clicked for me in my head. Like, oh yeah, that's it. Like it is literally just a fulfillment method. That's what drop shipping is. Well, you have to have something to fulfill and people that want it fulfilled and all that. And that's where like the bigger picture comes in. But yeah, so I mean, it made sense to me, especially when I started to see some of like the suppliers and some of the prices for being like sourcing some of this stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, like I get why this works.
Mhm.
Um, so
Yeah, 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 it makes sense. What would you say is the main advice you would give to like a beginner just starting out? They tested one or two products, nothing works. What would you say is the main things they should do?
they should be asking themselves why isn't this working, and then uh, they're probably not going to have the answers. Without spending an excessive amount of time and getting things wrong probably multiple times. So I'd say, get a mentor for sure. Like that's when I heard that, not even just, like because I'm here with you, but just from research I had done about just even like success and not just in
Yeah,
dropshipping. Like you need a mentor, you need somebody to help you, somebody that's done what you've done. um so and if you can't afford one, like just do research then. Like yeah, but do some upfront research, keep working at it. Like that's what I'd say. I think the chances of getting a winning product, like they're they're low, like um of finding one quickly, I guess maybe that's what I'm trying to say, right? Like but if you keep working and working, like you'll find one, for sure. So just be persistent, and seek to understand like why things are working, and know that there's a lot of variables. Like there's a lot of variables. So um, you could be doing many things wrong or just one thing wrong.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. No, I 100% agree with you. And the same thing was for me. I also just like I did dropshipping for like 10 months straight without seeing proper success. Got a mentor after that and started crushing it. And it's very interesting because I like it's such like in every other area of life there it's so normal to have a mentor. Like if you go to like to take driving lessons, nobody ever will give you a driving license before you had literally a mentor who's going to teach you how to drive. It's not that like it doesn't happen. If you go and want to become like somebody in the NBA, if you want to do something in university, always in every literally every field everywhere, you're going to have a person who knows more than you, just going to tell you what to do, because you reinventing the wheel is not going to be the thing which gets you closer to success in everything. And it's very interesting that so many people still try it by themselves. Like it does not make sense. And it's a very like it's a thing where they just put their ego in front and they think, all right, I know better. I want to try by myself and I want to learn from only my mistakes, and just watching YouTube videos is going to be enough. That's it. It's not how it works. I guarantee nobody, like if you look at every successful person ever, if it's I don't know, an actor, if it's Will Smith, Leo DiCaprio, whoever, if it's somebody, a boxer, an NBA player, and anybody who's a top level of something, they had a coach in the thing which they're doing. It's impossible to get there by reinventing the wheel, because you're not smarter than marketing, which was like which basically is there for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of or like thousands of years, which like evolved into the thing which we have now, where we have all those books and all the things which we understand those like which we understand now. It's impossible to do things by yourself. It's not how it works. So yeah.
I mean, it would just take forever. I mean, that was like the big thing. I was like, I can sit here and struggle
Mhm.
um, for 2 years like a year or two and end up getting a mentor anyways, or having success and not really understanding why. Or I could just get a mentor, get into a program and cut my time in a fraction of the time. And like he like it worked, right? So 100% would do it all over again, and probably will. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's just cool.
Yeah, and the thing is, like you were saying, for example, I had 6 weeks of product research. Imagine you did it by yourself. You did like the same 6 weeks of product research, and after those 6 weeks, you need to pick which product you will test now. It's a very, very different thing where you never have the full confidence that you're doing the right thing. And whenever you test something and you're like, all right, is the product actually good? Is the ad actually good? Is the store actually good? Is this the right strategy on Facebook? Should I even do Facebook? Should I maybe do this? It's so many different variables which you're gonna constantly second doubt yourself, and you're gonna think to yourself, maybe this is the issue, and this is why it doesn't work. And then you start fixing it, and it's maybe not the issue. Maybe it's something completely else, or you fix it and you just change the product, and the next product is also bad. So there's just so many variables which you're not going to be able to figure out by yourself. And for everybody watching right now, if you're actually serious about this entire thing and you want to get started, you can click the link below, sign up for a call with me, and we're going to find out if everything is a good fit. If yes, we're going to start working together, and if no, then not. So yeah, Agam, I'm really looking forward to maybe doing the second update interview in like half a year or so and seeing where things go. But yeah, appreciate you being here, and that's that.
Thanks a lot, Michael. And yeah, guys, sign up. Don't waste your time. That's what I would say.